holidays. And as we complete this turn here, that same home will be on your right-hand side. This is what's left of Whoville from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Martha May Whovier lives in the pink house right here, and then the green house next door with the free cookies, that's the home of little Cindy Lou Who, who was no more than 2. But those poor little Who's, you know, I worry because you don't get to pick your neighbors here on the back lot. And those cute little Who's, all they want to do is celebrate Christmas. They end up living right next door to a psycho. This is the Bates Motel. You can see the psycho house up the hill there. With Mother up there. Oh my gosh, you guys. I didn't know that Norman Bates was working today. If I'd known he was going to be here, we would have gone a different way. I'm really sorry. I'm just going to be real quiet. Maybe he won't notice we're here. You guys can take your pictures and... Oh no. Brian, should we call somebody? Can we let him get... Hi, Norman. How are ya? Oh, thank you. We don't need a place to stay. We're all right. That's so sweet of you. Always trying to help. Oh, he won't hurt you, please. He's just a mama's boy. He's not gonna hurt anybody. So the Bates Motel and the Psycho House together, they make up the most historic set on our lot. Sudden stops like that are why you're never supposed to stand up while we're moving. And right now we are heading into one of the most spectacular sets ever built on any Hollywood backlot. This is the colossal crash site set from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Please keep your seats for now. Please keep your seats for now in that fourth car. Thank you. Once we bring the tram all the way inside, we will stop for photos, but just not quite yet. This is all the remains of the neighborhood where Tom Cruise hides out in the film War of the Worlds. And that is an actual plane over there. It was destroyed specifically for this incredible scene. Alright guys, now that we've stopped, if you'd like to stand up and move around for photos, you're welcome to do that for just a minute or two.
Airplane crash.
We are so close to the end, babe.
It was all designed around the vision of Steven.
When you first began to sit down to talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the same for film goes down right in a pretty neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep nice and big. Listen, close your eyes, okay? Down close. Robbie, get in. Get in.
Okay, so let's make sure everyone's in their seats so that we can move on. Thank you, folks. That's War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. You might notice the two middle sections of the plane have a blue stripe, but the nose and the tail of the plane are solid gray. Well, when we got this plane in here, the whole plane had a blue stripe all the way along along the body of the plane there. But shortly after we got our set placed in here, a pilot flying into LAX saw our crash and called it in to LAX, which was very embarrassing for a lot of people because obviously no one was hurt here. And to avoid that ever happening again, they painted the nose and the tail of the plane to cover up the serial numbers so that this plane no longer has any identifying markings. And now on a little bit of a lighter note, the cabin on your right-hand side was originally built for the great outdoors, starring After that, it was Craig T. Nelson's home in the series Coach for many, many, many years. That show was on the air for a long, like 9 or 10 years. It was a long time. And in the last few years, this cabin has been featured in episodes of Ghost Whisperer, Las Vegas, Crossing Jordan, ABC's Desperate Housewives, and lots and lots and lots and lots of TV commercials. We use this cabin a lot. And one really nice thing about this cabin is it was built specifically for production. That means it's a practical set. A practical set is a building where we can shoot both indoors and outdoors. And there are actually portions of the walls and roof of this cabin that are removable, so we can take that out and put the camera in and get a little better view inside. You guys might be wondering about that big blue wall off in the distance. That blue wall is the largest freestanding backdrop in the entire world. We can put any background we want up on that wall. We can fill the pit up in front of it with water or not. You know, it depends on what we want. Once we got everything all set up, we can use it for amazing climactic scenes from movies. Oh, not that one. I'll show you that in a second. This is Falls Lake, and that's Jaws the Revenge. Jurassic Park 3. A couple things that have filmed in Falls Lake a little bit more recently include Biggest Loser. That's what it is. If you watch The Biggest Loser, they did some stunts over there for season 6. And if you saw National Treasure Book of Secrets, you remember the big Mayan temple that was carved out of the rocks in the Andes Mountains? It was carved out of styrofoam over there in Falls Lake. And one thing that all of those movies have in common, in fact, most of the movies we talked about today, it's computer-generated imagery. I told you I'd talk a little bit more about CGI. It's hard to find a movie these days that doesn't have any CGI in it because the technology is just getting so good. It's getting better and better and easier to use. One of the very first movies that relied heavily on CGI was The Mummy, starring